So what is CVA, or a company voluntary arrangement, as it's known? Now, a CVA is a formal insolvency procedure. It's like a restructuring tool. And what it allows a company to do is to pile all its unsecured debts into one pot, if you will. And instead of, paying it as and when it's due, you get to pay it over a longer period of time. You restructure your company's debts to, say, the typical period is a 5-year period. Okay. Now, during that 5-year period, the company will make one payment every month into a pot, and that money will be distributed to the creditors of the company. Now, I always find it helps if I give you a real life example. So let's talk about Harry's Haulage, okay? I hope there isn't an Harry's Haulage out there, and if there is, I'm not talking about you, Harry. This is one of my made-up scenarios. Harry's Haulage owes 200 grand to the revenue, and he owes 100 grand to suppliers. Now, Harry can't just liquidate and do a pre-pat liquidation because he has something called an O licence, and if he liquidates, he loses his O licence and he can't trade on. His business is over. Now, HMRC wants all that money in 12 months. They want about 16 grand a month. His suppliers want it in 6 months. Again, that's 16 grand a month. So in total, Harry needs to find about 32,000 a month before he even gets out of bed. It's a tall order. It's not looking good for Harry's Haulage. Now, the business would be profitable if he could just get a bit of short-term cash. But we've looked at refinancing options, and there's nobody that will lend money to Harry's Haulage. So what are his options? Well, a CVA would basically allow him to restructure those two debts, potentially, if they vote in favour of it, and we can demonstrate that Harry's Haulage has a future. It's not just, we're going to make a go of it. There's got to be detailed cash flow forecasts and projections that have got to be looked, checked, and sent out to creditors for approval. But if we can demonstrate that Harry's Haulage has a good chance of surviving going forward, they could enter into something called a CVA. And a CVA would restructure that £300,000 worth of debt over a period of 60 months. Now, essentially, instead of paying 32 grand a month, what Harry's Haulage will need to pay is £5,000 a month. Now, they've still got to keep on top of their other debts and their current HMRC demands. But as long as we can demonstrate that, and the creditors, over 75% of the creditors accept it, Harry's Haulage could be accepted into a CVA. And that CVA is like a wall of protection around the business while they're in it. Now, it's not a golden bullet because the credit rating of that business while he's in a CVA will be dog dirt, Harry's Haulage isn't going to be able to get a pack of fags on tick. But the business is going to be able to continue to survive. And if the business becomes more profitable and they can discharge those debts over a shorter period of time, it doesn't have to last 5 years. Now, the criteria for a CVA is the company needs to be insolvent. Basically, you can't afford to pay your debts when they fall due. The liabilities of the business are more than their assets, or they've had some type of legal action against the business, a stat demand, the CCJ, or a winding up petition. Number 2, the directors and the insolvency practitioner need to agree that this business is viable. There's no point going into a CVA for 6 months and then the company fail it. We've got to look at this. Everyone's got to be confident that the business is going to come out the other end. Now, to give people comfort on that point, there's going to have to be detailed cash flow projections and forecasts. So there's quite a lot of work that goes into a CVA. And most importantly, 75% of your creditors need to approve the CVA. Now, remember, it's worth considering when your creditors get approached with a CVA, they're given something called a comparison statement. Now, if you're a limited company with little assets, it's highly likely your creditors won't get anything if your company fails and goes into a liquidation. Whereas in a CVA, you can offer to repay your creditors 100p in the pound. They'll get all their money back, but they're just going to have to wait a little bit longer to get it. Now, the main benefits of a CVA are halts pressure. Nobody can wind you up while you're in a CVA. You've got that wall of protection around you. You, the directors, are still in charge. You know, you save people's jobs. The company stays alive. There's a lot of things that'll happen on day one. You'll improve your cash flow on day one. Harry's Haulage has gone from finding 36 grand a month to 5 grand a month. So, listen, a CVA is not for everybody. But if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about what a CVA could potentially do for your business, or if your business is suitable for a CVA, get in touch with somebody today. We offer free, independent and impartial advice at Virtue. If you enjoy our channel, please subscribe, give us a comment, give us a like, and thanks for your time. See you soon.